The federal election is finally over, and it has dramatically changed the face of every major political party in Canada. But there's another shift in Parliament, and that's along gender lines. Women will now make up 1/4 of elected MPs. My next guest has been looking over the results. Sandy Mayzell is the producer of Dancing with the Octopus project, aimed at increasing the number of women in politics, and she's here in studio. Hello, Sandy.
Hello, Joanne.
So we spoke to you just when the election campaign started about your concern about women in politics. How are you feeling today when you look at the numbers?
Well, I feel cautiously optimistic.
Okay. How did the numbers break down for women in this election?
Well, we now have 76 women dancing their way to Ottawa, and that's an increase. So that's great. As you said, we're now 25% up from 22. And I think that's good. Last time we were at 69 women. So, I mean, it's not it's not incredible, but we're moving in the right direction. Should we say that?
Okay, I think that it's fair to say that. And do we contribute a lot of this gain to the New Democrats?
Well, a lot of it, has been contributed to the New Democrats. Jack Layton very consciously came out and said that he was going to be running as many women candidates in winnable ridings as he could, and it showed. He's now at the New Democrats have 40 seats out of the 102 that are held by women, which is great. And that's an increase to 39% from 32% last time.
How does it compare to the other parties? Just if we put it in some context, I mean, where do the Liberals and Conservatives in percentage sort of sit in terms of the percentage of their seats and how many are women?
Well, the Conservatives have 17%. That's where they sit. So they have 29 out of 167. I think we need to do better than that. And same with the Liberals. Well, the Liberals had some problems just in general. So they're at 18%. And the Bloc Québécois is at 25%, but that's only 1 in 4. And of course, the Green Party has 100%, 1 out of 1.
Let's talk about that, because there's lots of debate going on in the country, and I'm sure there will be within the Green Party, about the decision to concentrate on the leaders' riding, get someone elected as opposed to keeping up their vote across the country. Elizabeth May is the only female federal leader. How do you expect she will change the focus or the tone of debate? Well,
the first thing, last night I was at her victory party, and it was really great. I was shooting, and she was just it was so exciting. Oh my God. But she was very clear that her first priority when she gets to Ottawa is to change debate to become more civil. I know Denise Savoy, our NDP incumbent here, has been working very hard on that regard as well. And Elizabeth has a methodology. She has a strategy for changing that. She will stand during question period, and when people start to heckle, she will sit down. She will not rise again until it is quiet. She will put the speaker in a position to follow the rules that should be followed, and that is not to allow for interruptions. So she's determined to have some kind of influence on that.
She may have some assistance if Denise Savoy stays in the speaker's chair.
Oh,
too.
Definitely she'll have assistance, yes.
So during the campaign, what were you hearing from female candidates? I mean, you talked about the New Democrats making a point of putting women into winnable ridings. Mm-hmm. In looking at some of the research you'd done when you were here last, you said, oh yeah, lots of parties are saying they're running women. The trouble is they're putting them in ridings they can't win. What were you hearing from women out there?
Well, it's interesting. I followed several women here on the island. I was shooting and filming with all of them. So Denise Savoy and Edith Loring Kuhanga, Renee Hetherington, of course Elizabeth May, and Lillian Spock. Yeah. And all of them took the attitude that they were going to win, and they all felt they got good support from their parties, which is something that's essential to find out how much money is going to be behind you, how much support in terms of media and training and everything like that. And they were all pretty pleased with the support they were getting from their parties.
So, and do you feel then that that's a positive change as well, that you were seeing that in place?
I do. I think that it is now in the consciousness of both the leaders and the parties and the candidates. And of course, as Equal Voice says, it's not the responsibility of women to make all of these changes themselves. And once they get there, all they can do is their best as representatives of their constituents. However, the fact that we things do shift when there are more women in the room. And I do believe that as we keep increasing the number of seats, there will be a different civility, there will be a different modality, a way of functioning that is more about listening, teamwork, cooperation. That's another thing Elizabeth said very clearly last night, was an element of cooperation, and I heard that from Jack Layton too, and Denise, that they will work with all members from all parties to get things done.
The Conservatives now have a strong majority, and there will be women in the cabinet. I mean, while it may not be a big number, they have 28 out of 167 or 29 out of 167. What are you hoping that the party in power will do to represent women and the role women should play in the House?
Well, I hope that at least, there were quite a few cabinet ministers last time in the last Harper.
Yes.
Yeah, he had, 11 women. They didn't all last till the end. We know. But I think if he makes those choices and puts them in portfolios that matter, portfolios, and it would be interesting to see if he put them in portfolios that weren't traditionally thought about as women's issues, like health and labor he had, and Minister of State, status of women, that was changed. And seniors and diversification. It would be interesting if he moved into other areas.
External affairs.
Well, yeah, external affairs or even budget. I mean, there are a lot of really qualified women out there. Part of the problem is that there isn't a lot of training in these specific areas for people when they get into Parliament. And suddenly they find themselves in a position without a lot of background and experience. So I think that training thing is something that we should be focusing on as well.
Well, it's interesting to see the numbers going up, and we will stay in touch as we move forward on this.
Yes, Leanne Allen and I are very excited. Our Dancing with the Octopus is doing quite well. We're getting lots of hits, and it's spreading around. Lots of candidates took a good laugh moment during the stress of the campaign, so we were thrilled. Thank you very much.
Well, I would assume, too, that you intend to keep Dancing with the Octopus as a project going.
Absolutely. You know what? I was a little nervous last night when I was watching the screen. I was going, oh, goodness, it looks to me like there are tons of women. We're not going to need Octopus anymore. But when I saw the stats today, I was convinced we still need it. And Equal Voice, of course. Equal Voice has done a great job. We got all these stats from Equal Voice this morning. They were right on top of it. And Nancy Peckford's been in touch with me, and I hope to be working with them.
All right. Thanks so much, Sandy.
Thank you.
Sandy Mayzell is producer of the Dancing with the Octopus Women in Politics project. And if you just put that in your search engine, you can go to their website and see all of the projects that they have online.